Hi, I'm Don Mitchell. Welcome back to Business Basics, the book that helps you to accomplish at least 8,000 times more with your existing business. In this lesson, we'll continue to look at ways to add more customers, at least 20 times more, by accelerating market growth as well as gaining market share. And our topic today will be turn your customers into eager business evangelists. And as background, I like to quote from the Bible, in this case, the book of Joel, chapter 1, verses 1 through 3 in the New King James Version. Hear this, you elders, and give ear, all you inhabitants of the land. Has anything like this happened in your days, or even in the days of your fathers? Tell your children about it. Let your children tell their children, and their children another generation. Why should you turn your customers into eager business evangelists? Well, eager business evangelist customers are always telling others how wonderful your business is and encouraging potential customers to try your offerings. Most network marketing businesses are based on word of mouth promotion. You learn about a great product or service from a relative, friend, or neighbor who then helps you to experience the offering's benefits. Soon you can't wait to share your happiness with others to improve their lives, too. I was reminded of this approach to gaining customers while rereading Raving Fans, a revolutionary approach to customer service, which was published by William Morrow in 1993 and written by Ken Blanchard and Sheldon Bowles. Blanchard and Bowles use a parable to introduce the idea of superior shout about it service through examples of a department store where greeters pin a flower on you when you walk in the door and employees eagerly head off to competitor stores to obtain out-of-stock items for you. A gas station that delivers impressive full service at self-service prices, and a grocery store where you enjoy free valet parking and are aided by no-cost personal shoppers to organize your visit and to help you save money. The key principles outlined in the book are, first, develop a vision of what you think would be perfect service for your customers. Second, test that vision by asking customers what service benefits they want to have increased. Third, start consistently delivering the service you can provide effectively that fits with what customers want, and then improve service performance by 1% a week. To accomplish such results, you should install a process to measure and to manage the effectiveness of your improvements. Sounds simple, doesn't it? In practice, of course, it can be quite challenging. When asked about their experience, the authors argue that customers who respond to the service is, quote, fine, or end quote, or are silent are often, in fact, quite unhappy with the service they are receiving. I've certainly hidden my dissatisfactions in such ways. I suspect that you have, too. Blanchard and Bowles argue that until you are inundated with unsolicited customer testimonials, your service isn't good enough to establish a highly effective core of business evangelist customers. They also recommend quality of service improvements that are solely based on customer experiences, rather than employing so-called mystery shoppers, so you more accurately know how consistent your service is and how effective and appreciated your service improvements are. While these kinds of observations are valuable perspectives to act on, I believe that the principle of providing such great service that customers cannot resist becoming a business evangelist goes well beyond Blanchard's and Bowles' concepts. Here's what I mean. Business evangelists creating organizations convince customers that all service providers are sincerely and deeply interested in being helpful rather than just trying to keep a job or make a sale. So here are 7 examples of this principle that are drawn from my personal experiences. One, when my wife and I brought our 2-year-old daughter for an early dinner at La Tour d'Argent, a famous restaurant in Paris, we were a little nervous about whether her behavior would be up to snuff, but we didn't feel we could leave her with a babysitter. The restaurant's legendary owner, Claude Terrail, soon came up to our table smiling, carrying a coloring book and some crayons. He introduced himself and asked if he could entertain our daughter for a while. When we quickly agreed, he gently got down on his knees in his elegant designer suit and spent over half an hour coloring in the book with our daughter. He had a huge grin on his face while he did this, which made it clear that he was having a fine time. Naturally, the service was pretty spectacular too, as his staff hustled to make a good impression on the owner. Our daughter continued to color happily after he left, and the meal was a great success. Second, after lunching at a modest family-style restaurant in Maine, I discovered I had stupidly locked my only set of keys in the car. I went back inside the restaurant to see if someone knew of a local garage that could help. Instead, the whole restaurant staff immediately filed out, unasked, to help me break in with a wire coat hanger. They had me into the car within 5 minutes and pleasantly refused my offer of payment while wishing me a good trip. Third, while on vacation with my parents, we visited a Nordstrom department store at Mall of America in Minneapolis. As I considered some shirts that were on sale, one of the sales associates introduced himself to my parents and unasked spent the next hour helping them plan the remainder of their visit to Minneapolis. None of us bought anything, but the sales associate couldn't have been any more helpful if he had been a professional guide being paid by us. Fourth, at a private club I belonged to, the waitresses knew I loved a certain type of ice cream sundae. For 15 years after the chef took the item off the official menu, they kept a stock of the topping that made the sundae so good for me and a few others who craved it. I always made a point of encouraging my guests to order this sundae, and many said it was the best they had ever eaten. Fifth, the same club suffered a total loss of electricity during a citywide power failure just 30 minutes before an important event that my family was hosting for over 100 people. Without missing a beat, the staff lit candles for illumination and cooked the food over wood fires on barbecue grills outside on a cold, blustery November day. Only afterward did we even learn that anything unusual had to be done to prepare the food. Sixth, my wife and I stayed at a famous hillside resort on the Riviera in France when our daughter was 6 months old. We usually took our daughter around the restaurant in a fold-up stroller, and getting up and down the many hillside stairs was a little awkward. One of us would take her out of the stroller and carry her while the other parent folded and lifted the stroller. The staff decided this would not do. Whenever anyone on the staff saw us near a stairway with a stroller, 4 strong men would rush up to carry her safely up and down the stairs while she sat comfortably in the stroller. Our little girl ate with us in a high chair. While dining, someone would come by unasked about every minute or two, clean her face and hands with a fresh cloth, and wipe the drool and food mess from her tray. This cleaning was done so gently and pleasantly that she laughed happily while it was going on. Seventh, before our daughter was born, my wife and I went to Tahiti on vacation. The people who worked at the resort learned that my wife's birthday was coming up when I asked where I could find a florist to buy her some flowers. They thought that was a funny way to obtain flowers. Orchids, of course, grow wild in Tahiti, so they don't have any need for florists. People just grow their own or pick wildflowers. A woman on the front staff spent several hours of her personal time in the jungle picking and later arranging the most amazing bouquet we had ever seen. When I offered to pay her, she wouldn't take any money for the bouquet. The memory of the staff person's happy smile still warms my heart. In the following sections, you'll find questions you should answer to help turn your customers into eager evangelists for your business. First of all, how should you improve your performance and reliability? Here I'd like to quote from the book of Job, chapter 24, verse 23. He gives them security, and they rely on it. Customers count on businesses to do things that they cannot easily do for themselves or don't want to do. There's some core benefit from any offering that customers need to receive. Otherwise, buying the offering is just a waste. Here's an example. In many cases, my Mitchell & Company consulting clients have wanted us to share any bad news discovered during consulting assignments with their easily angered CEOs, so any wrath fell on us rather than on the executives. Delivering the unpleasant news to such people is not much fun for us, but if we duck that duty or don't succeed in getting the message across, the client company will gain little benefit from our work. So we learned how to be quite adept at making socially challenged CEOs feel good while receiving painful news by describing the bad news in terms of providing opportunities to create spectacular personal accomplishments and public recognition. CEOs love this way of learning about their personal and organizational needs to improve. Hearing the news from us just makes the experience seem even more desirable to them. So your assignment is to ask customers where they absolutely count on you meeting a certain standard, or they will be profoundly disappointed. Find ways to pleasantly exceed their expectations and to make them feel secure while trusting that you will continue to do so. Next, how can you treat your customers as if they are honored guests in your home? I'd like to quote from the book of John, chapter 13, verses 3 through 5. Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, rose from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel, and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with a towel with which he was girded. People we invited our homes for meals or to stay with us often need extra attention. We may have picked them up at the airport or driven them to the airport in the middle of the night, located some special food or badly needed medicine at an odd hour, rearranged furniture, or found a local expert to help them with something. We happily provide assistance because we want our guests to have just what they need to enjoy their visit with us. While such occasions may make a lot of extra work, it's just part of the pleasure of enjoying their company. Your assignment is to learn about any special needs that customers have a hard time obtaining, but which you could supply. Consider how you could most thoughtfully provide for or generously serve such needs. Next, what memorable experiences can you create for your customers and enjoy sharing with them? Here I'd like to quote from the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 2. Now I praise you, brethren, that you may remember me in all things, and keep the traditions pat, just as I have delivered them to you. As you can tell from the earlier examples of great service, one reason that I'm such a Francophile is because French people have treated my family and me so well. Long after I cannot remember very much about a trip or location, I can remember everything about the most wonderful treatment we received. And I enjoy telling others these stories, just as I've enjoyed sharing them with you. So your assignment is to think about the most amazingly wonderful experiences you have experienced. Consider how you can provide a comparably fine experience for your customers that they will delight in telling others about. So next, I'd like to ask a really very interesting, I think, intriguing question. How can you help turn your customer into a hero or a heroine? Here I'm going to quote from the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 23, verse 20. Benaniah was a son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man from Hazel, who had done many deeds. He had killed 2 lion-like heroes of Moab. He had also gone down and killed a lion in the midst of a pit on a snowy day. Pretty impressive, isn't it? We all have feet of clay. Our intentions are often better than our accomplishments due to having too little time and too few resources. Even when engaged in something important, we may struggle to complete the task. Helping customers to avoid missing opportunities can present excellent ways to turn customers into heroes and heroines. Remember that what's hard for a customer is often easy for someone in your organization who has different talents, knowledge, and interests. Here's an example. People want their children to do well, but they may not be able to help the youngsters to gain access or to achieve in the ways that the parent or child want. In such a case, you or a colleague might be able to make an introduction, to provide a summer job, or to be a persuasive reference for one of your customers' youngsters. The gratitude you create will last for a lifetime whenever your customer gains credit for success through obtaining your meaningful help. If you can do something similar for boosting someone's career or enhance a business, those two are powerful ways to help and gain gratitude. So your assignment is to identify doors that you can open that your customers cannot open for themselves. And finally, how can you make it fun for customers to help you acquire new customers? And here I want to quote from the book of Esther, chapter 8, verse 16. The Jews had light and gladness, joy and honor. Many of Mitchell & Company's clients are enthusiastic golfers who enjoy fine meals and good wines. We've often invited clients and prospective clients to join us as our guests for events where such great activities were enjoyed in connection with a helpful business program. During such occasions, our clients have great fun describing to the prospective clients how well we treat them and what a great thing it is to be a Mitchell & Company client. Many of our clients first learned about us through such experiences and later served the same business evangelist role for other prospective customers. As your final assignment for this lesson, learn more about what your customers and prospective customers like to do when they aren't working. Find ways for them to engage in such activities together as your guests while they benefit from trying out some of your new offerings. So again, I hope this lesson has been a great blessing to you, be a greater blessing to your customers and your organization. In the meantime, until we meet again, may God bless you, your family, and all you do. In the name of Jesus. Goodbye for now.